Hello, my fellow retro gamers. Today, I want to go over some of my recent digital pickups for this month, where I'm just going to show you some games that I bought from the 5th and 6th generation that were on Steam that I found while browsing discounts and just the platform in general that you might not know are available on the platform. Now, myself, I bought these games to play and to eventually maybe make content about any of them. So if there's anything on this video that you see that you are interested in, just know that they are available not only for purchase, but for me to record content about them if you are curious about it. The one thing that I want to address before getting into the video is that I answered a comment the other day telling someone, a subscriber of mine, that I already had Diablo in the original GOG platform because I wanted to make a video on it, but that wasn't true. I remember I refunded it back in the day. I bought it for like €5, but ended up refunding it for some reason, and I'll have to buy it again, and I'll get it eventually and make a video about it. So I just wanted to tell that person that, in fact, I didn't have Diablo on GOG. Jumping into Steam, I grabbed myself a copy of the Metal Gear Solid Classic Collection. I just think it's very good to have these games on modern platforms, and I decided that I'd rather get them while they were on discount, which I found them on discount, and I wanted to play these games or just get a feel for them before the PSP and PS3 games come out on the later collection. So Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 4, those are coming out and were already announced if you weren't familiar with it. So I decided that it was a good time to grab these games to finally get to them once the time is appropriate. The other thing I picked up was Obscure 1 and 2. Now, if you are not familiar with Obscure, these were horror co-op games that came out on the PS2. And there are 2 entries, and as you can see right here, they are still on discount. I paid like $5.09 for both the games. And since I've been on this kind of wave after Resident Evil Requiem of playing these classic horror games, I already went through Dino Crisis and I'm looking to play something like Resident Evil the 1 remake. I felt like playing Obscure was something cool because I could do it with someone else. It's local co-op, which isn't bad at all because I usually have my girlfriend over and we like these kinds of games. So we were thinking about playing something like this, and it eventually ended up going on discount very soon after we discovered and wanted to get the game. So this was a must to get for the collection. The next game that I bought was Overlord, and I didn't only buy the first game, I bought the entire collection because once again, the entire collection was available for €5.32. It was included in the Electronic Arts publisher sale that is still ongoing. I don't know specifically until when, but as you can see here, the bundle comes with the entire collection, and for €5, like, it's a steal. There's no denying it's a steal. Now, I don't know much about these games. I know they are half RTS, half hack and slash, and you play as the villain, this guy right here that controls these little imps and demons. And I've always heard good things about this. I even think I have a physical copy of it for the PC, which I can't run because modern PCs don't have like disk drives. At least mine doesn't have one. So this was the way that I decided I was going to play it. Still in the same sale, another one I decided to buy was the Saboteur for €2. Now, this was a game I wasn't very familiar with. I got introduced to it by my cousin, who is more versed in the PS3 library than I am. But this was a game that takes place in World War II. You play as a French spy. That's basically all I know about the game. And it seems really fun. As long as it runs properly, I've heard this is a great game and I can't wait to get to it. I don't have much to say about this one. Now, this one right here is a very curious one that I really want to talk about and eventually get to play it and make a video on it, because this was a game that I have never heard of. And this is quite rare for me because I consider myself someone who is very knowledgeable about the PS2 library. And this game here, Knights of the Temple Infernal Crusade, is what I'm guessing is a medieval, like, historical hack and slash game where you play as this like a Templar or a Crusader. And it looks so good and so fun that I don't know how I've never heard about it. The first thing that comes to my mind when I look at these trailers and these screenshots right here is like a mix of Dante's Inferno and God of War, but for the PS2. And I don't know how I've never heard about this game. I found it while looking for PS2 games that were on Steam, and this showed up and immediately caught my eye because I had never seen it, and it was on discount at the time I purchased it. It was for €5, but it was like, it looked so good that I just decided that I had to grab it and eventually try it out. So if you want to see something about this on the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. And last but not least, we have Warhammer 40,000 Fire Warrior Classic. Now, if you are not aware, recently Snag, which is a publisher responsible for remaking a lot of old games, put out an entire collection of old classic retro Warhammer games on Steam, and they were completely built from the ground up, which is the justification they use for the prices, and all the games were discounted. As you can see here, Warhammer Classics Timeless Video Games Return available now. And I was thinking, what is the best way for me to get to know some of these games? Now, a lot of them are CRPGs or RTSs or TRPGs, which is a genre that I'm not very good at. So I wanted to get something that was more easy or was easier for me to get into. And I found this FPS in a Mortismal Gaming recommendation video because he himself tackled the release of all these games. And I decided that this was the one that I wanted to get for me to get into it. Now, I haven't gotten to play it yet because I was finishing Doom 64. I finished it yesterday. If you are curious about it, make sure to check out my backlog. Link will be in the description. And this was just the game that I decided was the best for me to get into this franchise. Now, I'm not someone that's very versed on Warhammer 40,000. This franchise is huge, bigger than Star Wars even, so it's hard to tackle. But I think this will be a good entry point for me. Did you pick up anything interesting this week or this month on Steam? Make sure to tell me in the comments. And if you have other retro game recommendations on Steam or other digital platforms like GOG that you want me to get to maybe make a video on, make sure to tell me down in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss any of that in the future. Other than that, I'm always looking for these games on digital platforms so I can have them on my PC, which is the easier way to play them. And I'm also a big emulation guy, so I've been emulating a lot of games myself. If you want for me to make a video on that, I'm also down to do it. Other than that, make sure to go and play some of these games.